Listen up, cluckheads.
You're listening to Whiskey and Whine
With Rooster and
The Madman, where we talk about common sense, current events,
Constitution.
morals, while comparing drinks of yesteryear to drinks of today.
So sit back, relax, leave us a comment.
Here comes Whiskey and Whine. You are listening to Whiskey and Whine. This is episode 2. You know what we're about. You know what we do. And tonight's fine alcohols that we are taste testing.
Fine.
The bottom end one is Natty Light.
And then the top end is our friends at Deep Ellum Brewery with Dallas Blonde.
I can already tell you that the coloring between these two are very, very different.
Yeah, the Deep Ellum Dallas Blonde is it's a pure beer color. The Natty Light is...
Pretty sure I saw that in a urine sample.
Yeah, that's because they say you rent beer. You don't
you
really
never
own
really
it.
own it.
So Natty Light is the leftover on the rental agreement.
So for those of you that tuned in last week, you know that we're given topics, and we're given 3 minutes to discuss each topic. And whenever the timer goes off, we stop talking. So... what was the first topic that somebody brought up?
So let's start that timer. The first topic we're going to do is going to be Biden's taxes. Tax the rich. I'm pretty sure we hear a lot of that tax the rich, let them pay their fair share, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure Motorhead would have had a song about tax the rich if he could
Absolutely.
At this point. So, but rest in peace, here, Lemmy. Anyways, but so what we got on our taxes, what we're going to do is talk about. They need to pay their fair share, and that's great and all. But let's be honest. There's this great survey out there by a guy named Philip Magnus.
He's the guy that compared all the tax percentages and rates from like World War I to current, right?
Yeah, I mean he's one of the very few. If there's, it's really thing I didn't know until I looked him up. Until I saw this stuff. He's a tax historian. Believe it or not, he works for the American.
I cannot believe that is a thing.
Yeah, that's pretty boring, but it's a thing. He works for the American Institute for Economic Research, and he's researched everything from that crazy 90% tax rate that they had back.
Nobody paid.
Nobody paid.
Nobody.
And then the 60% that we had even later. And what he found was progressives or the left were always trying to raise taxes, and conservatives typically want lower taxes. Not that all conservatives have not, some have raised taxes, but as a general rule, it's always the left wants more, the right wants less. But anyways, what he did is he actually, with public information and actual historical records, is he has found there is not a single instance of one taxpayer who paid it 90% or paid it the 60%. In fact, what he's always seen is when taxes are lower, we actually collect more tax revenue and the economies are stronger. When taxes are higher, the rich actually don't pay anything. They know how to move that money around and get all those loopholes because those politicians, they always help their buddies and their cronies out by writing all these little tax exemptions in. That's why the tax code's so complicated.
My opinion on the taxes. Okay. So you're going to tax me on a house that I own, tax me on the land that the house is on that I own, and then tax me on a vehicle that I paid for to drive on a road that I'm taxed for, and then my income is taxed, and then whenever I go to the grocery store to pick up some of this wonderful Natty Light, it is also taxed. So at what point does the taxes stop?
I don't think they do, and that's really the problem. So we say we're going to tax the rich. We don't we end up, obviously we know we have a history of they don't actually end up taxing the rich.
Pretty sure this Natty Light is all
taxed.
So
all you can do is go after the middle class and the lower class at point because they still want that tax money, ultimately leaving us only with the ability to afford Natty Light.
So direct quote from the president, no amendment is absolute. I think that what we should do is apply that no amendment is absolute to the 16th Amendment whenever it comes to the taxes.
Absolutely. Here. I'm for it.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I mean, that way that I could actually keep more of the money that is mine that I made. Oh, there's our timer. All right. So if I can get this thing to stop.
How to work that out.
Go.
Yeah. So that and while we got a little before we get into the next topic, again we want to talk about this beautiful deep Ellum Dallas Blonde versus our Natty Light.
I'm gonna just call it now. I took a sip of this Dallas Blonde. It's clearly the winner. I looked over, and the ringmaster Jerry is in here with us tonight. And whenever he took a sip of the Natty Light, it literally looked like he licked a cat's butthole.
Yeah, I don't like to beat up on Natty Light too much. It's been there for me. Who hasn't? Been at a 7-Eleven at 1:30 in the morning,
digging through your ashtray,
for an ashtray to get a hot dog or heat up a burrito in a microwave and figure out how you're going to wash that bad boy down after a full night of fun.
Just look at the wicked hen, and her face is not amused with the Natty Light.
But the cool thing about Natty Light is, you don't even have to walk to the back refrigerator to get some. It's usually in those little ice chests right there by the register.
you and I go
where
to
all the quality stuff is.
You and I go to very different gas stations.
Yeah, mine's probably a lot more shameful.
What's this next topic that somebody brought up?
So the next topic is the fun field. We've heard it for, when Trump was president, we've heard it all the way through. It's been a push for Democrats for a while, or by progressives. For $15 an hour. Biden actually covered it in his address to Congress last night that he was doing on that one. So, he said that, we need to raise people above the poverty line. Nobody working 40 hours a week should live below poverty.
And I completely agree with that. Absolutely.
It's shameful that that's the case. The problem with that is you're just moving the poverty line. If you make $15 the new benchmark for the poor area of this is the least amount we pay people, well, inflation takes care of the rest.
So you're just going to be increasing the cost of living and everything else.
Yeah, you've solved nothing. All I know is I'm going to turn around and ask the next McDonald's kiosk after I push all the little electronic, little touchpad there on how I want my Big Mac with extra sauce or whatever, how it feels about that $15 an hour.
Sorry, sir, the ice cream machine is still broken. So my opinion on the $15 an hour. Let's start from the ground. Everything from clothing to food, it comes from the ground. So, let's say your favorite chips, or let's just say they're Doritos because they go well with this Natty Light. Nothing goes well with Natty Light, but let's say that these do. You pay $5 for them now. Well, now that farmer that's growing the corn to make these corn chips is having to pay more to get those seeds to plant the corn because the person that he's buying them from is having to pay his workers $5 more an hour. If they are getting paid $10 an hour, now he's required to pay them $15. So now that farmer is having to pay all of his employees $15 an hour, which makes his overhead go up. So as his overhead goes up, now he's got to have some room for profit margin. So he's going to have to charge more. So then that trucker that is coming to pick up the corn is also having to get paid more to take the corn to the Doritos plant. Now all the people in the Doritos factory are having to get paid more. So how are Doritos going to make their profit? They're going to have to increase the price on your bag of chips. So now just to break even, that $5 bag of chips is actually going to cost closer to $8.50. And that's to break even. That's not even for a profit. So imagine what that's going to do to stuff like jeans, T-shirts, ball caps.
Oh, yeah. Everything's
Natty Light.
Natty Light. Even the Natty Light's going to. The poor Natty Light is still going to be the cheapest option out there. But instead of being the $1.50 to $2 that we get for a tall boy, it's going to be $5, kind of a deal. But, the great thing is just kind of looking at this, it just seems like, we just talked about taxes, and we talked about $15 an hour.
It's almost like if you took less taxes, we wouldn't have to try to increase to $15 an hour.
Wow. It's a crazy thing because, he even he tried to entertain and quote that Ronald Reagan thing, which I think Ronald Reagan would have turned in his grave with the whole idea of quoting trickle-down economics while raising taxes at the same time.
There's our buzzer. Well,
all right.
It's just like cutting one end of the blanket off and sewing it to the other end.
Well, yeah. Because you get a different blanket that's chopped up. Now it keeps your shoulders instead of your feet warm.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, just whatever.
Yeah, I'm not real sure how that works out.
So I switched back from the Dallas Blonde to the Natty Light.
What's with the sigh?
Man, this is rough. It reminds me of whenever I was in college and I had to go down to the Love's Country store and pay for a case of this and change at 1:45 in the morning because they stopped selling it too.
Would that be when you're on a lawnmower, or is that more of
a? There was a lawnmower involved at one point in time. There may have been a cowboy hat and some boxer briefs.
Yeah, deep Deep Ellum, Dallas Blonde, you guys, you got the win. I mean, it's clear. You're the winner.
You're the winner of this, absolutely. Yeah. So what's our last topic? I saw somebody.
So the last topic is kind of an aggravation point for me, but I'll try to keep my personal feelings to myself on this one, even though I don't really like this dude very much. But he is a veteran, so I give him credit for that one. For what it's worth. John Kerry, former senator, married a millionaire heiress, gets the Heinz fortune, all that kind of neat stuff. Well, I had a failed presidential attempt, which is cool because I never ran for president, so he made it farther than I did.
We can catch you up on that.
Yeah. So they, pun intended, catch up. Yeah, good joke, good dad joke right there. I'll have to do a segment on that. But anyways. So, he's secretary. His consolation prize for failing to get the presidency is the next guy who does win under the Democrat umbrella is Barack Obama, and gives him the Secretary of State position, and then sends his butt on over to Iran to negotiate a nuclear arms deal, which is great. And I'm sure they're doing. I'm just picturing there's some Iranian strip club somewhere where they don't take
very sexy eyes.
Yeah, where they don't take their clothes off or do anything or have any alcohol or anything like that.
Reminds me of the Amish strip club I went to, and I saw some ankle.
Yeah, I saw an Amish strip club once. That woman had a really great mustache.
She got her products from Gifted Chicken.
Yeah. Well, we take care of that. So we got a great mustache wax. Anyways, so where I was going with that is, so he's apparently doing this weird sidebar negotiation, almost like a favor, as I imagine, of hey man, to get this deal, sweeten this deal up, how about I give you 200 covert operations currently underway by the Israeli government?
Wow. Wow. So he just basically sold out our greatest ally in the Middle East.
Yeah, the number one ally for the U.S. in the Middle East.
Well, doesn't this go against the Logan Act?
It doesn't, because he was actually...
okay, so hold on. Brief synopsis, in case somebody doesn't know what the Logan Act is.
Yeah, so the Logan Act was actually enacted in 1799, and it was... the short version is it criminalizes negotiations by unauthorized American citizens with foreign governments or foreign agents. In 1994, it was ratified and changed up a little bit, and so now it comes with a fine it comes with a strip of the title. It's also a felony by federal standards, so you're going to get the fine. You're not going to be able to work in the government positions, all that kind of stuff. But where he actually violated the Logan Act is after he sells out our ally in that region, which is just, I can only imagine how many people died because of this sellout. I mean, and it is truly a sellout, and he should be ashamed of himself. The Obama administration be ashamed. But the Logan Act situation that you're talking about is, so when Donald Trump is now president of the United States, Kerry's nothing. I mean, he's not appointed anything.
He didn't violate the Logan Act underneath the Obama administration, but he violated it underneath the Trump administration.
Because when Trump was going to pull us out of that negotiation or that negotiated deal with the Iranians, here's John Kerry trying to save a deal which he has no business doing. He's not appointed by anybody. He doesn't hold any type of office, rank in the military, anything. But he sold us out. And that should have kept him out of the Biden administration if they'd pursued it. So I know our time has run out.
Our timer went off.
I'll let go of that one, even though that
Long
one really
story
irritates
short,
me.
we shouldn't backstab our allies.
Absolutely not.
So a quick shout out to Mr. Michael Collins, the forgotten astronaut of Apollo 11. He passed away this week at the age of 90. If it hadn't have been for you and the courageous efforts that you and all of those guys did. I mean, we got more technology now on our phone than what they did for the entire lunar landing. We wouldn't be anywhere that we are today in the technology race. Our condolences go out to your family, and Godspeed. Rest among the stars. Starman, thank you for everything that you've done.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, good sir. You were a man. You were a man among men. You came from a different type. Right now we argue alpha males versus beta males, and we actually had a beta male talk the last time. But you definitely were in the alpha male category. I mean, you were one of these guys who strived, and reached for the stars, and now you did, and you achieved it. I mean, it's amazing. And now we spend our time arguing about, can we put a man in the women's room? Or whatever the case may be. It's just silly compared to where we were once at, as far as goals that we chased and versus what we're doing now. So again, rest in peace, sir. You are a true American hero.
Not even an American hero. I mean, he was a hero for the world.
Absolutely.
So thank you for tuning in to Whiskey and Whine, episode 2. We want to give a very special shout out to Deep Dallas Radio and Locked and Loaded.
Yeah, thank you, Overlord, for allowing us to play Unlocked and Loaded on Saturdays between 4 and 4-ish, whatever, p.m.
I'll make sure to have my coconut oil ready.
Yeah, we'll get that Overlord's Dungeon Oil. Dungeon oil. Yes, Dungeon Oil is 100% coconut. But anyway, so yeah, thanks again, Overlord, on that one. And then I also wanted to give a little quick shout-out to our sponsor of GiftedChicken.com, home to all your beard, bath, and body care needs. And always remember, in a world full of chickens, be a rooster.
You've been listening to
Whiskey and Wine.